Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, Lo-Fi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number, ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number, MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various... I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBD Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
Welcome.
Well, good to be back.
Good to be back. I actually had a completely different show planned today. But the unfortunate events that took place yesterday has me feeling kind of off, feeling kind of mad, feeling sad. So that's the way my day has gone so far, and we're gonna continue going into this, now in a minute. But Carlos, how has your day been?
Exhausting. We're wrapping up the school year, so everybody's in a mad dash to finish paperwork, meet with parents, try to set things up for the following school year. And so I'm pretty tired. It looks like allergies are kind of kicking in too. Probably with now that it's actually humid and beginning to rain out here. But in regards to what you're talking about, yeah, I didn't see that coming. I mean, I think I was just kind of watching the news yesterday, and the last thing I expected was what I read on the Chiron at the bottom about 14 dead. That's when they thought it was 14. Obviously, the count went up. And I'm like in Texas, and I'm like, it took a while to register. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was scratching my head, like, wait a minute, I can't be reading this. So, we're having this conversation again about how to protect schools, and after a few of these, you kind of already see the roadmap on how these situations are handled. We first go through the shock. We start hearing the information. And then shortly after, you start hearing the finger pointing and the annoying blame game. And it's like, that. Oh, well, there you go. Facebook debates. That's good.
That's exactly what it is.
About as real as it is. Yeah, Facebook debates. Everyone forgets. Congress does nothing. Crickets chirping. Mass shooting. Right? I mean, I think that right there, you could take mass shooting and put anything in there, and you can have that loop. Thoughts and prayers might be optional depending on the situation, but the rest of that chain, it's about right.
Well, look, I would tell you this. I agree with Anna. Mental health does play a role. Sketchy. What's up, guys? Any senseless act of gun violence, no other country faces guns deaths like America. America has 112 guns for every 100 people. Most industrialized countries are 8 to 100. You're probably right. What could we do? Who's to blame?
Just to answer Sketchy's observation, I heard something this morning and I just wanted to verify it here. Does the United States have more mass shooting than other countries? It depends on the data. So the average mean annual death per million people from mass public shootings: number 1, Norway; 2, Serbia; 3, France; 4, Macedonia; 5, Albania; 6, Slovakia. I can go on and on. We're number 11. So not exactly, but okay. We have enough for us to be concerned. Being at number 11 is still, I'd rather be number 190, but here we are.
Look, I got this from the New York Times, right?
Right.
It's a list, and it's a partial list of mass shootings in 2022. Okay, and I will tell you something. It is it's a long list. I don't agree with everything they have as a mass shooting, because to me, like they have here a gunman, no, not that one, owner and 2, like here in Biloxi, Mississippi on April 27th, right? The owner and 2 employees of a Broadway Inn Express motel in Biloxi, Mississippi were fatally shot, and another person was also shot dead during a carjacking. The subject, which I'm not going to say his name because I refuse to name names, especially
we're done trying to popularize and glorify these clowns.
Right. He's 32 years old and he was found dead. To me, a fight where you kill 2 other people, that's not a mass shooting. That's for starters. So I think there's a very big misconception of what the news media is putting out there as mass shootings, and to what we, the regular individuals, is a mass shooting. To me, what happened in Texas is a mass shooting. Parkland's a mass shooting. In Buffalo last week or 2 weeks ago, that's a mass shooting. Sandy Hook, that's a mass shooting. Columbine, that's a mass shooting. Okay. That to me is a mass shooting where somebody goes in with reckless abandonment, doesn't give a shit about anybody else or anything else. It's not about that he had a fight with somebody. It's just about, you know what, wanted to create mayhem. You can't buy alcohol or cigarettes unless you are 21. I thought cigarettes are 18. But what?
They've changed. Some places have changed. I think now it's 21.
Okay, so let me correct you there, Anna. Depending on what type of gun you're talking about, you could purchase. At 18 years old, you could purchase a rifle. You could purchase a shotgun. What you cannot purchase is a handgun. You know,
what's the logic in that?
I think the logic at that time, and don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure, was more of a gun you could conceal, a gun you could hide.
Okay.
But now, you know what? It doesn't really matter because
you just need a trench coat. Columbine.
Yeah, and yeah, you know, but you know what? My question, like, Carlos, you're an educator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And not to put you on the spot.
But you will.
But I will. It makes no freaking sense. You're absolutely right, and that doesn't make sense. But I got a question. Does the school train you for any type of situation like this on what to do?
Yes, they do. I'll say that. Maybe not enough. But I think once a year, at least, from my experience anyway, they do train you on lockdown procedures and they trained us on, for example, depending on, you know, how the room is set up, if you don't have an alternative exit, places to hide, ways to try to hide the students. Like in my school, for example, a lot of the rooms have like pretty big storage closets. And so we were trained to kind of like hide and lock ourselves in there. But immediately, the minute something triggers a warning, you would get a loud voice over the system. It would tell you to lock down. So the teacher's first response is to run straight for the door, lock it, and then escort the children or the students to a safe location. If you don't have a storage thing, then find a corner that's like as far away from the door as possible, or put them in a place where there's a lot of obstruction. And then honestly, if you have any kind of projectile that you can throw, use it if they happen to get in. So they do train them. They do train them. And they do drills too. Probably about once every month or every other month. So yeah, they do. They do.
Okay, so sketchy. He says, if you want to drive a car and own one, you need to take a test drive and insure it. Why can't we apply the same topic to guns? No other countries have access to the amount of guns as America. Okay, let me tell you what happens. When you first buy a gun, and this is where the gun laws are kind of sketchy, okay? And when you buy a gun from an actual store, brand new gun, not used, right? I can tell you that it's going to get registered. It's going to be sold to whoever it is. Okay, you got to wait those 3 days, those background checks, one or the other. Okay, not a problem. I think the problem here comes is when you buy a gun from person to person. Okay, that's where the law is very sketchy. Because, like in the state of Florida, I could buy a gun from Carlos and I don't have to register it. Carlos just better make sure that there's a paper trail on that gun. Because I could go ahead and shoot somebody where they run the ballistics, it comes back to Carlos. Carlos needs to make sure he has a paper trail. Or even myself, if I get pulled over and I have the gun with me and they run the numbers on the gun and it comes out stolen, I better have a paper trail to when I bought that gun. So, you know, the laws are pretty sketchy, they're sketchy. They're very, very broad. There's nothing etched in stone, you know. And Anna says that is sad. Why don't they enforce helping kids with mental health issues, bullying, etc.? Well, supposedly with this kid or this guy, there were signs. He was bullied in school. His friends were saying that within the past couple years, he dropped. So my question here is, if people start seeing, your friends that are dropping, they're not dropping, but like their attitudes,
Right.
Sketchy, yes, I heard part of Steve Kerr comments on the shooting yesterday. I think it was very, very good of him.
I didn't hear Steve Kerr. I heard about it. I didn't catch it. And I don't watch basketball much, so I didn't hear much of what he said.
So, Facebook user, if you can identify yourself, would be great. But if you don't, I'll find you, see who you are. Honestly, Facebook user, what good is this training, Carlos? I understand training, but just like in the military, the unexpected can and will happen, and there's no training for that. Ooh,
so let me answer that, I guess. I mean, what good is the training? Let me ask you in a different way then. Is it any better if we didn't have any training at all? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, we can't predict the unexpected. I think that would go with anything. You could be an expert at whatever, and the unexpected may still get you. So I understand the question, but I think if we look at it in a much bigger picture, not having any kind of training would probably be much worse. So, there's got to be at least something in place. America's not ready to take certain steps regarding school security and things like that, or at least maybe it's about time we had that debate, and maybe things will change. But right now, what we're left with is locking doors and hiding kids and grabbing your paperweight, and hopefully you can crack someone in the skull if they show up in your room.
Well, this is what I saw. This was a Facebook post that I saw today. And this came out of Palmetto, Florida. This man right here stands in front of the school, the only entrance there is to the school.
Right.
Like this.
Yep. And see there, this little caption right here, I saw this too, brings up two interesting points. Unfortunately, Frank, schools traditionally, hold on, I'm reading Sketchy here. All right. Just to kind of jump on Sketchy's point, in my opinion, Sketchy, partially Republicans are right, but there needs to be more. This right here, this picture you have is brings up some good points. So you have the armed guard, and if you notice, it says here, where is it? Madonna's one entry. One entry. So Frank, you and I went to school together, and unfortunately, I'll say unfortunately, in America, we've grown up thinking that schools are supposed to be these like wonderful open places that should be accessible to everyone, and they were built that way. Schools have a ton of entry points, a bunch of different ways to get in. I remember, like at Everglades, you had fences all over the place, and a lot of them were wide open.
Well, yeah, Everglades was a very open school.
Schools have always had multiple entry points. And so, now in today's day where we're dealing with increased mental health issues, these types of wide open facilities are vulnerable. And so we've assigned one SRO, school resource officer, to each school. That's still one person with a gun, and anywhere from 4 to 8 entry points. I'm still going to get some damage done if I want to go in and do some. It's just not enough. We have to start considering ways to narrow down entry points, kind of close in schools a little bit. It's just a reality of how things are going. And so that picture, like you posted, like having fewer entry points is major. And yes, having trained staff, or at least guards, something, but there's got to be some stricter security at our schools. I kind of agree with the Republican standpoint. Well, this one does, Sketchy, but Sketchy, you're kind of we can't turn them into prisons, but they can't be this wide open. I believe that's part of what happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Guy just ran on
Right.
he just ran in there, and the door was open.
He was confronted by whoever was there at the door, the school resource officer, but he ran in through a back entrance.
Okay.
So
all right. And so that's an issue. I mean, nobody wants to see schools turn into prisons, but multiple access points are part of the problem. Schools being too wide open and not enough coverage for all these openings. These kind of things happen, and there has to be a middle ground somewhere between security, entry points, access to the inside of the building, and trained security that can actually fire back.
Well, look, Dwayne White. He's responding to Anita's comments, right? Anita put, my opinion, teachers should have never taught kids to call 911. If your parents spank you, it results in kids not having respect for any authority. So then Dwayne White comes back at Anita. At 18, you allowed to enter and sign contracts. It's not age. These people are red flag nuts. I think he's actually referring to the age comment that she made. Which, yeah, you know what? I think Dwayne White has a point.
So are we beginning to suggest, and this is actually not a bad thing to think about. Should we begin?
Yes, Sketchy. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? What's the negative of it? Please tell me. Outside of appearance, what's the negative? I don't see a problem with that. I don't. They're all soft targets. Put some security there. It won't be as easy. People will consider or think twice before they try something at these places you just listed. It's not a bad idea. Frank, back to the previous point. Should we begin to reconsider what we consider the age of adulthood? I mean, is 18 really being an adult?
It is and it's not. Some people are, some people are not. And this is the problem you have. Once your kid graduates high school, normally these kids are already 18 years old.
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, what does graduating high school mean? It's just, you're done with your education. Great. But that doesn't mean you're really ready to deal. It doesn't mean you're ready.
It doesn't mean you're ready, but you know what? By all standards, you're supposed to be ready. You're supposed to be done. You can do it. You could get it. So what at this point trying to change the age of adulthood, Carlos?
It's just a thought. It's just a thought. But let's put it another way. I'm going to ask you an interesting question. I don't know if I'm going to word it right. But do you feel that the 18-year-olds today have the same kind of grit and maturity that 18-year-olds did 20, 30 years ago?
Nope.
So then I'll ask it again. Should we still consider 18-year-olds to be adults?
No. Nope.
I feel that.
I think we should, because that's the way it is. You're done with high school. You excuse me. You are an adult. You see. Let's see here.
Changing age for adulthood won't matter. I'm not sure if I can completely agree with that.
I don't think that's going to matter.
I would understand. It sounds like a too simple of a procedure or an option. But let's be honest. I mean, the maturity level between an 18-year-old and say a 20, even one, but 21, 2, 3-year-old is, I think, pretty different.
Dwayne White, I've been agreeing with a lot of your comments. And you know what? I respect your opinions on stuff. Here I'm gonna tell you that, what you do with your kid, that's your prerogative, and I get it. But I think that you can't also have your child locked down in homeschool constantly on his own, and learning from home without any other interactions from other kids. And what I mean by other kids is not a brother or sister, just, school kids. It's like when you go to work, you interact with other people from work. And I know at times you have to lock your kids down and bring them in
Oh,
and protect
that's
them.
when you use you locked the doors and you broke fire code. I remember that.
You know, right? But at the same time, you can't lock your kids in. You know, to your home. You can't have them just homeschool because we are living in fear. I can
Well,
tell you that
if he doesn't
I
have,
would never live in fear.
if
You
he
know,
doesn't
and
have the confidence in public structure, and he doesn't have the confidence in how public institutions handle certain things, I mean, that's his option. And he's not alone. I mean, my kids go, my kids, they go to public school, and I trust and pray. That's all we can do. Do I think schools can beef up security? Yeah, I think they can. I feel that there's this notion, and it's something that we really need to begin to peel away. That we wish that schools were all just rainbows, sunshine, unicorns, rubber balls, and kickball and all that good stuff. But outside of the fence of the school, it's the world. And that school is still part of that world. And there are things that may encroach over the fences of the schools that we want to protect. We need to treat the schools the same way and begin to apply protection more so. The average school has just one SRO. The one I work at has two, but that's because it's an alternative school. Like, it's the hard knock school.
You've always worked at those alternative schools, huh?
It's because, I like to slap these kids around. Tell them, hey, wake the F up.
Well, look, Dwayne comes out. If you decide to add more age restrictions, then you might as well not let boys drive until they're 25, according to insurance companies. Under 25 men have higher rates. Yes, you're absolutely right. Under 25, you do have higher rates.
Mm-hmm. It's a debatable topic, Dwayne, and I see where you're going, and I have to agree with that too. Like, it's hard. I'm always trying to find the middle ground, but you really gotta at least question the mentality of 18-year-olds nowadays. They just don't feel like they did years ago, and so do we begin to adjust things? Hey, we just adjusted the age of smoking. And I know that's like you can look at that from a health aspect, whatever you want to do. But the point is, these things can't change. Should we start considering it? I don't think they're as mature as they used to be. And then let's add in the big elephant in the room. I think clearly between social media, kids being locked in more, socializing, and just human communication decreasing every passing day because of social media and things like that. They're left to their vices and the information and the garbage they see. Mental health issues are going through the roof. So there's nothing wrong in thinking that we may need to just start considering things differently, and the fact that 18-year-olds just aren't being brought up the same way anymore. And so I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Liz said it right. Liz said it right. I think 18-year-olds kids are not very mature these days. But I think at 18-year-olds from my time, we were still not mature. It's how they're raised at home. And that's right.
So the only thing I can say to Lisi then is, the only thing that's gone down between the 18-year-olds of yesteryear and now is the ass whoopings. They're just not getting it like they used to.
So Hector's asking, whose fault is it for this generation not being mature, as you say?
Hours.
It's a lot of hours, a lot of social media.
Hours. We've bought into a lot of this pobrecito mentality, like, oh, poor baby. A lot of the grit that we grew up with is gone, and I try to apply it to my kids. And I've been fair across the board, and I think it's worked out pretty well. My kids are respectful and they understand. I'm not forgiving when I don't want to be. My mom was an ultra hard ass. And so I've learned where my mom was overzealous and where she was proper. I've taken that and I've applied it. But you do have some kids out there that and mind you, I work at a school. So remember back when we went to school, if we screwed up, who got in trouble? We did. Today's kids, if they screwed up at school, who gets in trouble? The school does. Teachers get ragged on. It's never the kid's fault. Never the kid's fault. And that's the kind of crap that's going on today. And so they're growing up entitled. They're growing up thinking they can do no wrong. And so they do stupid shit thinking they can do no wrong. That's increasing across the board. So I don't know. But the age of the beautiful open learning place that we grew up in, unfortunately, the world outside of it is tainted now. It's a different world out there. And security measures and things need to begin to be applied in the schools. And one SRO or one security guard is not enough. Now, in defense of that picture you posted, I know that school. It's a small charter school. So they may be able to afford having one entry point. But the average public school, Frank, you and I went to, elementary school together. I'm sure our middle schools were the same way, wide open.
Well, you know what? That's where I think, right, they're wide open. What they need to start doing, and going back to that picture,
right?
Okay, we're gonna leave it there for now. What they need to start doing then with these open schools is actually then have armed guards.
I agree. I think that people need to get over that idea. I'll say it again. Get over the idea that schools need to be like, oh, gun free. Guns don't belong in school. Yeah, they kind of do now. Sorry.
Well, you know what? Look.
And we don't have to make it like to the staff level if you don't want to. I get the controversy of literally having teachers packing. Man, I don't even know if I'm too comfortable with that. Teachers can have a bad day. but guards, more of them.
But you see,
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with with having armed guards at a school. But now this is where you have your problems also, okay?
Right.
Because let's look at both sides. All right. You have your armed guards at the school, right? Let's say this guy has a bad day. Let's just say, some kid, because these kids are gonna try the security guards because you do it all the time. All right. Who's to say that this guard is just having a fucking fucked up day? All right. And now says, oh yeah, fuck you, kid, bang bang.
Damn.
I mean, let's widen it out that way.
I mean, okay, so that is a hypothetical, and it's even possible. All right. So Frank, we have to look at things that will promote general safety, but nothing you're ever going to propose, nothing ever, I don't care, is ever going to be 100% foolproof. So when I say let's increase guards, increase guard presence, and increase, gun presence with the guards, overall, on a grand scale, you should have an improved sense of security and safety in the school. But even that will not be 100%. And I was just adding to your point right before you brought up your example. Some people have suggested teachers receive training. Teachers carry in class. And I just said, what if the teacher has a bad day? I'm tired of the disrespect. Pat, 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 pat. So
okay, so Hector over here says, sorry, I disagree. You can't police every public school in America. Okay, Hector, I'm going to disagree with you there.
There are 130,000 public schools in America. We have the money. We have the money.
Instead of us, the United States, giving money to Ukraine. I want to say we've given them now about what?
Too much.
80-something million, I think it was, or some shit like that. Okay, maybe my numbers are off.
Look, I'll even take it one step further. Let's the amount of money we've lost in fraud for COVID relief could have handled this situation. We've got the money.
But hold on. Wait. But this just, and I'm not pinpointing any administration.
No. Me neither. Okay? I'm just saying the money's there.
This goes back to whether you're left, whether you're right, Democrat, Republican, liberal, socialist, whatever the fuck you want to be. Independent, nobody has done nothing to fix the problem.
Right.
Okay. Nobody.
Right.
Where this problem has to be fixed. I mean, obviously, we could sit here and talk about it. We're just two guys on a fucking podcast,
That's what we do.
Expressing what we think, and hopefully, one day this problem is fixed. Because you know what? I could tell you that I
And
definitely,
I agree with Dwayne there.
I
Gun-free zones are exactly the places I want to go if I want to go blow up a bunch of heads. Right there. Gun-free
I don't
zone.
want to be.
And that's what
these
schools
people.
used to be. That's what schools used to be. That's why they constantly get hit up, because that's exactly what they were. Gun-free zones. And they used to boast it too. You'd walk around in your school, you'd have those metal placards that are stuck on the wall. It says gun-free zone. Children welcome here all day. All sorts of wonderful welcoming stuff. Days are gone. Days are gone.
I don't want to be these people. Okay.
Mental health issues are growing. We do need to focus on ways to monitor and maintain, and even and I know they've talked about red flags, and I'm okay with them. You just got to be careful, because like I said, once you say red flag laws, that means somebody is assigning those red flags, and I get fishy about that. But we do need something. But yeah, gun free, that's done. Those days are gone. 200%. Yeah, we've spent too much money on Ukraine. We spent too much money on too many things. And yes, I think with 130,000 public institutions, we can afford to pay a few guards in this country. We can train them properly. And Frank, again, it won't be perfect, but it'll definitely be a step up. But yeah, even guards are human, and God forbid a guard has a bad day. But you'll never come up with a 100% solution.
Damn, I ran out of water. But oh well. But I was actually I invited someone to come on the show, but he I guess you couldn't make it. But I went through.
That's a tough conversation to have right now. But
well, no, he's part of the CMG podcast.
Oh.
And he works for FedEx, right?
Okay.
And his post, let me try to find it on my phone so I could kind of, read it, because it makes sense, as to how. Here it is. He comes out and. No, that's not it. Yeah, his thing goes, how the fuck did he get in the school? It's disgusting. The doors should have been locked, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then someone made a comment, and he puts a comment to somebody saying, I have to be buzzed into every school I deliver. Lady at the camera says, how may I help you? And buzzes me in, like, how did he manage it? And then he just goes, how did he manage to just walk right into the school like nothing? now, and I can speak about this, okay? In these little towns, they're little towns.
They are.
Okay?
They are.
Everybody knows everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you don't know anybody, you're going to know that person's neighbor.
Right. Okay? And you've been in those towns, right? In Texas?
Dude, listen, I got pulled over. Okay, out there.
I remember this.
Okay. And it was, I gave the guy my license, and he jokes at me, oh, your family's with the people that live all the way at the end of the street, aren't you? I'm like, yes, I am. Oh, I went to school with your cousin.
Yeah. Sounds like that's
right,
scary, man. I'm not going to lie.
So, in all these little towns, everybody knows each other. So now, whether he got in, I think Dwayne said it, didn't he shoot the resource officer entering the school? I haven't gotten clarification.
I don't know if it was a resource officer or actually a border agent that was there.
No. There was a resource officer at the school.
Okay.
The border agent is who shot him.
All right.
How the border agent was there or why, I don't know. Maybe the border agent son went to the school. I don't know. But I know that I read that he entered the school through the back of it.
Mm-hmm. And the door was open or something. I mean, that's another thing schools are dealing with. We're talking about adding more guards. Truth be told, a lot of schools nowadays are just completely understaffed everywhere. And I don't know where to point the finger at that, because I know how the money falls, but I don't know why it's not being spread out the way it should be. So you look at the school boards for that, but schools are understaffed, and so you'll probably have some kind of slip up, like some dude leaving a door open, and of course after a while you don't think about shooters coming. It just doesn't cross your mind. But
Look,
here you are.
This is the problem that we have, right? So
One of
roughly
many.
30 minutes, yeah. But this is talking about the shooter, right? Roughly 30 minutes before the frack. Hold on, I hate this. I hate the computer sometimes. I was right on it. I was about to read it, and bam. Okay, roughly 30 minutes before the attack, the gunman issued several chilling communications on social media.
He did. Yep.
Okay,
I heard about that.
The message about it. But you see, Facebook came back and said the messages described were private one-to-one messages. So then the shooter lived with his 66-year-old grandmother since March. She survived the shooting. Yeah, that's another thing. How the fuck? He shot his grandmother. You know? So March of neighbors while police were called. She was airlifted and was being treated for her injuries at the hospital. The gunman took his grandmother's truck and crashed it just outside of Robb Elementary School.
Yeah.
Right. Abbott said around 11:30, he took an AR-15 style rifle and a backpack with him and went to enter the school. Another rifle was later discovered in his truck, according to the briefing given to lawmakers. Okay. The shooter was wearing a plate carrier, but not ballistics armor. Police were not pursuing the gunman. At the school, the shooter encountered school resource officers, but made it inside the school through a back door, officials said. He walked down hallways before entering a classroom.
So, I hate to say someone dropped the ball, but someone dropped the ball. The door was open. The door was open. Again, protocols need to be tight. School, doors need to be locked. Nowadays, ever since Parkland, at least here in Florida, they have upped their measures. They have upped their measures to, when it comes to entry. Like at the school I work at, you have to be buzzed in, and then you have to be buzzed into the school too. There's only two ways.
Said it.
Yeah, no, they
want to allocate the funds.
They don't. And guess what? At least from what I was hearing, because there were other issues involving school resource officers and physical abuse for students. And what I mean is, like, for example, when a school resource officer has to take down a student because of aggression, and then sometimes the student gets hurt. I heard that they were actually considering removing the school resource officers from the schools. And I looked up today. I'm like, not after yesterday. Nope. It's not going to happen. Wow.
So the biggest issue is that these young men are not getting.
Oh,
sketchy. You really know how to put it out there.
Oh, sketchy.
A lot of Sandra. You see, Sandra was the one that I read the post on.
So Frank, let's talk about it though. Teachers carrying, right? It's not. I mean, I've heard it proposed, and I've heard it's not mandatory. There are teachers who do know how to handle a weapon. Should they be allowed the option to carry?
Again, we
Sketchy has taken this conversation off the rails.
Yes, he did. I disagree. Teachers shouldn't carry. Okay, but this is where we go back into what I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have a teacher carry. Okay, nowadays, and the problem is that nowadays kids don't have respect for their fucking teachers.
I agree. I was just thinking, man, in today's environment, now when we were kids, yeah.
Okay, if I'm in high school, I'm a teacher in high school, right? And I'm not a big guy, okay? Or say I'm older. I mean, I'm older now. I can't fight in my 40s, okay, or in my high 40s, my early 50s almost,
And
or
Frank,
late
shut up. We're almost there.
like I did in my 20s.
Ouch.
Okay. In my 20s, I was able to take a pull stick across the back, get up and grab a chair and chuck it or whatever.
The good old days.
So what's going to be my defense mechanism? I got 4 kids coming at me. What? I can't defend myself. Hey, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's volatile.
So-
it's volatile.
So
Every classroom is a potential Lord of the Flies situation. It's not a good idea.
So again, going to Sanders' comments, okay, having a teacher carry also poses that. Would you want that to be your kid? You know, and I think that in order to carry, especially a teacher, they have to get put through training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like heavy training, and even then, okay, and just even then, it's one of those where, okay, who's to say? I mean, look, I have training with a firearm. My thought process is I use it if my life is in danger. If I got 3 big old kids, 3 offensive linemen coming at me, they're gonna beat my ass. Guess what? My life is in danger. Who's to say it's not?
Yeah, no, I get you. The teacher at the teacher level, that's super hot button. Super hot button.
And look,
I think at this point though.
And what if a student takes a teacher's weapon? Then what?
So it's not. Maybe they shouldn't necessarily carry, but there should be some kind of like combination safe or something where they have to at least know there's a situation and then purposely access it rather than just walking around with it. I don't know. I mean, we're just shooting the shit with regards to ideas. And at the teacher level, I mean, I do see the pros and cons, but man, I'm weary, especially because teachers today just take way too much. Schools right now are at the point where they're just letting kids get away with so much that, teachers.
To Elizabeth's comments, with what teachers get paid, you can't add the responsibility of children's lives to their job description. I'm sorry. Teachers
aren't just teachers anymore.
Have that responsibility. If a child is in your classroom, you are responsible for that child.
Yeah, see, Dwayne was just kind of Dwayne just posted, said something that was kind of alluding to where I'm going. Teachers today,
I'm getting there. Let me get the comments.
Teachers today are just
Liz right
anymore.
Liz Cuesta, she agrees with Frank. I had a middle schooler tell me, "Don't touch me. I could get you fired." I wasn't even touching them, and that's the problem. These kids don't have fucking respect for anybody. What they need to do is get punched in the face. So Andrew says, I may not have much to say, but teachers should carry because some shouldn't carry because some of them are fucking crazy.
Should or shouldn't?
Andrew, should they carry or should they not carry? So you see, my sister goes, I want to punch that kid after that comment.
Listen,
and you know what?
Your sister's had tendencies to want to punch people since I've known her. I'm one of those people she's probably wanted to punch. So,
all right. So Dwayne comes out. Didn't Biden say last week that while the kids are in school, the teachers are the parents? So let them carry guns, tasers, bear spray or spear guns. I don't know about that, Dwayne.
Well, hold on.
I've been agreeing with you, but
see, hold on. Dwayne touched on something that I think is a beginning. It's a problem now, where teachers are just expected to be so much more than just teachers. It's kind of getting ridiculous. In
what sense?
They're literally expected. They're basically it's like you said. They're basically parents. Like.
Well, I got a question though. When you have a child in your class, okay, isn't that child your responsibility?
Yes, they
if
are.
That child walks out of your class, right? You are just to walk out. You are responsible to report them.
Oh yeah, but that
something happens. They come back to you, say, "Hey, Carlos, why did you let this kid walk out of class? Why this? Why that?"
No, I get that, Frank. I don't think you're on my level here at the moment, but it's more about like they're now no, but now they're literally expected to teach morals, and it's gone a step above, and now
morals come from home. Okay, if
you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised. But you know what?
I wish.
But you know what? Look. Yeah, but if a child doesn't have morals, okay, and I believe that when a teacher takes that step, or an individual,
look, your sister nailed it.
I'm not there yet. I'm not.
Read it.
But I'm not there yet. Right? Okay, I'll get there in a minute. But let me say my point. When a teacher takes that step to want to be a teacher, okay, it's to teach every kid.
Teach.
Sometimes, right. Yeah, but sometimes teaching is not all about books. Sometimes teaching is about just everyday life.
Right, but I think it's become an expectation, and that's the problem.
That's the problem, right? Okay, so Sandra goes, not every teacher, but every school should have at least 2 to 3 teachers who are allowed to carry one. Of them can even be around after school to make sure no bullshit happens. And then there won't be no damn elementary school student gonna grab a gun from a teacher. That's for sure. I mean, I agree with him. No elementary schools will grab a gun from the teacher.
I think Sanders on the right wavelength. I just don't know if it should be teachers. I would still stick with increasing guards, but the presence of a few weapons in school I'm not against it. I'm not. Schools are still too soft of a target. They need to be hardened. Period. Period. I'm not budging from that one at all.
Okay,
all
so
right? The days of the gun-free zone are gone.
Then who's responsible for the teacher? So okay, Hector has a good point here. If the teacher is responsible for the student, then who is responsible for the teacher? Then the principal is going to carry too.
Leave it to the guards. Leave it to the guards. I'm cool with more guards.
All right,
I was just looking up some stuff, Frank. We were going to touch on this. In Israel, they haven't had a significant school shooting since like 1974. Notice I said Israel. Israel is a country that is like always watching their back for attacks from Palestinians and things like that. And yet they seem to have figured out how to protect their schools. They have they have a lot of guard presence. They have few entry points. I mean, these are things they've been doing for years. And you know, Israel does things that's pretty amazing. When you constantly have a target on your back from every nation around you, basically, yet they don't deal with terrorist attacks on planes because their airport security is insane. They don't deal with school shootings because their school security is proper. I mean, they can do it. Why can't we? Now they do have. I did read some articles, so I tried to, they do have stricter gun laws. Like I think I read here, you can't get a gun in Israel until you're 27. So the testing for guns in Israel is pretty strict, and the security guards, they've got to be constantly tested, and sometimes they fail and they have to reapply. So they've got that on lock, but it's worked. I mean, they haven't had a shooting since longer than I've been alive, or at least a significant one. And so these are things that need to be considered. I think, but we should begin to look at how Israel does these things, because that's a country where plenty of nations would like to wipe out their children, and yet they have found a way to protect them on the daily.
All right, so Sketchy writes, why don't kids have respect anymore? Is it parents, society, both, or something else? I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, social media has a lot to play with, in my opinion. You know. Let's see. Then my sister comes. She's laughing at you. She says she never wanted to punch you.
She's lying.
And Anita goes back to teachers. And Anita writes, Goes back to teachers telling kids in the 90s, call 911 if your parents spank you. I don't know about that.
I mean, that we can get into the debate of spanking.
Teachers are not nannies. So Lewis Gordon writes,
I'm glad he wrote that.
Stations with schools, police activities coming and going constantly is a deterrent. They did it.
That's
at
one thing
Walmart
they have in Israel also. They actually have little substations inside the schools. And that's, I'm glad Lewis brought that up. That's a point I forgot when I was talking about Israel. They've done that in Israel. These are things they do. Increasing the gun presence and the police presence at schools is a good thing. And so I'm all for that. I have no issue with that. And yes, we can fund it. I mean, we've thrown money away like there's no tomorrow. We can definitely fund that. So
Sander comes out, but put these teachers in those defensive schools because that's what these crazy fucks are targeting. Innocent elementary school, Sandy Hook. Elementary school, this. Elementary school. Protect all schools, but we can't put extra eyes on elementary schools. That's what's being targeted.
Is it though? I mean, what? Parkland was a high school.
Yeah.
Parkland was a high school. Columbine was a high school. They're not all elementary schools. West Virginia or Virginia, I forgot, was a college. So it's not that black and white. Not that black and white. But they are still soft targets. They are large facilities with lots of people who are defenseless. If I want to cause carnage, that's where I'm going. Teach
not to be freaking parents.
Oof, this has been like one of the most.
Yes. Bring back the paddle. Yeah, that works too.
Yeah.
When was the last time someone went to a police station?
When was the last time we walked into a principal's office and they had that ominous paddle in the back? I know you remember.
Cheney had it. I remember sitting in his office, and I don't remember with who.
Ominous Greek letters.
Carlos, Hector, I believe some churches and place of businesses, some do have armed guards.
So I see where Facebook users going. I mean, at this point, you're going to start brushing it on everything. We can't do that. But I think at least when you have places with large congregations, i.e. schools, churches, if they can find a way to like receive some kind of protection for guards, I promise you anybody who wants to try to attack said center will think twice because there's bullets waiting for them too. To Sketchy's point, I did say that Israel did have stricter gun rules, and so we may need to start considering that. Again, you can buy a gun when you're 18, and as we said earlier in the show, 18 in 2022 does not seem like 18 in 1985 or 1990 anymore. It's different.
Hector, I want to say that we're just talking about schools right now because I think that's the topic at hand, and a shooting wherever it's at is not right.
Yeah, we're not going to prevent shootings. We can bring up
the problem. My problem here is this, man. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but that little scroll down the line, okay, if you see the ages on those kids, okay, we're talking about 10-year-olds, talking about 9-year-olds, talking about 11-year-olds. Can you imagine being a parent of a child, and you have to bury your child because of some senseless act, because some fucking person carrying a gun that probably should not have been carrying a gun or a firearm, okay, did? All right, that's the problem I have. Shootings are gonna happen, and they're wrong regardless. But right now we're talking about kids. Okay, it's easier for me to accept, if my mom dies, if my dad dies, okay, because the story of life is we bury our old. Okay, it doesn't make it good if they die, if they got shot. Okay, but we know that we bury our elders. We don't bury our youngs. And when a child that's full of life at 10 years old, he has his whole life ahead of him, just got deprived of having a family. You deprived his parents, okay, of having grandkids. You know, so I'm focusing on the kids, and Hector, you're right. A life is a life, no matter the age. We're all kids of someone, no matter the age. You're right, Hector. We are. Okay. But I think that the way that everything's happening is where, our youth is being targeted by these individuals. And that's what I'm trying to get across. You're right, Liz. It's not easy to accept if anyone dies the way that those children died. You're right, it's not. But I think what we're also doing here, Elizabeth, any act of violence is unnecessary. It doesn't matter if it's an old folks home or a daycare. You're absolutely right. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say there is that, if it's an old folks home, okay, and a daycare, we're gonna more and more the daycare and these kids are really old folks. Not that it's gonna make it right, that's okay, but there's a very big different level. If I get shot at 90 years old, fuck, thank God, I'm not gonna have a mind. Okay, sorry kids, but I lived my life. These kids just started had not even lived their life.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it's just my heart goes out to these parents because, I can't imagine to put myself in that situation. I can't. I try to kind of, when I was looking up the show and looking up these pictures, I really tried to put myself there, and you know what? I can't even fathom that. I can't. So, there's my rant for the day, I guess. I don't know. I probably have more to say in a minute.
This has been a good debate. Lots of ideas, different ideas. We don't all agree on our propositions, but these are the kind of conversations that we need to have in order to achieve the best possible idea. And it's a tough talk. We agree things need to change.
Hold on, I gotta go back to Hector here. Hector, it's not that I don't mourn for any American who dies innocently. I do mourn that. I just think that it's very different when you have these people attacking kids that can't even defend themselves. All right, you know what? Come at me with a gun. The minute I see the tip of it, I'm going to make sure I put a bullet between your eyes. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean, hey, somebody's life is more worth than others.
More worth or less worth than someone else's.
No, it's not. Seems like the shooters of elementary schools are triggered by the age group. And I don't know what they're triggered by.
I don't know if it's so much triggered by the age group or it's the fact that schools, particularly elementary, but they're easy, defenseless targets. When you want to cause carnage, you find the place where bullets will not fly in the opposite direction. That's just the MO.
Eyes are a good target. No body armor. Exactly, Dwayne. Exactly. Look, guys, I want to thank everybody that joined the conversation.
Yeah, man, that was that comment section was.
We haven't had a show in over 2-3 weeks. I was contemplating on doing a show earlier in the week. I had a totally when I decided to do the show, I was like, all right, this is what we're going to talk about. I had a bunch of other things to talk about. Unfortunately, this happened.
I wanted to trash the president. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, we could save that for next week. We'll probably have more on this, next week, because obviously we know that this is still going out there. What did Hector say here? You can't say that your life can be taken without notice. If you have a barrel pointed at you,
Hector's coming at us with like every hypothetical.
No, it's okay. Hey, listen, it's okay with that. No, Hector, you're right. If I have a barrel pointing at me at that moment, hey, listen, you never know. Maybe they might get nervous. Maybe they might not. But I can tell you that I'm gonna try my damnness. Okay, to take not you out, but to take the individual out before he takes me out. If I get taken out, you know what? At least I got taken out trying to fight back. Not innocently, where I can't even fight back. That's the point that I'm trying to make. These cowards, okay, these low piece of shits, all right, are taking innocent lives. Not so much age group. These kids was bullied at his school, and he was just exciting revenge on it. But we will never know. You're absolutely right, we're doing. We will never know what was in his mind, what went through his mind. But again, I don't even know what to say anymore, and it's just one of those where there's just, it's a sad day. All these school shootings. Sketchy, great show, dialogue tonight. You two always hit it out of the ballpark. It sounds like you two are fully recovered from COVID. Remember, people who get laid don't kill people. Sex violence. Sketchy, you know what?
Unless you're David Carradine, I'm sure he knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that.
Hey, look, guys, remember, share us. Look forward to what's coming out of us, guys. I want to say thank you for everybody that.
Great show, and thank you. Yeah, the comment section was great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, really. Sketchy for president. Sketchy, you got to run for president, man.
Oof.
And I would just leave it at that. Thank you, and remember those victims. All right, hug your child. Let them love them. Don't take these kids for granted. With that being said, you might not agree with what we're speaking, or you might agree. And today was one of those days where we did not all agree, because we didn't.
That's fine.
But I guarantee you, for everybody that was on the show, okay, Sketchy, Liz, Anna, Elizabeth, Dwayne, Lewis, Sander, and I don't know who else. I'm sorry if Hector. Okay, I'm missing four. I don't know who it was.
You didn't say any.
Andrew. Who else? I thought
there's a bunch, man. But everybody who was on.
Thank you for the comments, and thank you for speaking it real today. We'll catch you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.